Hello, it's Wisdom. I feel so fancy with this mic. If you're anything like me, 65, 70% of the time, you're stressed. For a good amount of time in my life, I was very stressed, confused, frustrated, depressed, and it's still something that I'm trying to fight off. And so I thought it would be great for us to tackle it together in the second episode of How to Control Your Mind. I have broken this topic into 3 sections, so let's get into it. Ask yourself, what makes me stressed? The world is filled with so much chaos, so much confusion, so much frustration, so much depression, and we find ourselves looking for different solutions to conquer all of this. So much to the point where we lose ourselves and we lose our peace of mind. For me, peace has become something that is so tangible, so important that I don't play around with my peace. By identifying the cause of your stress, you enable your mind to figure out different ways in order to solve them. A solution could be writing down the things that really stresses you out. For instance, my rent isn't paid, or I'm not doing well in school, or my relationship is in jeopardy, or my family situation is really stressing me out, my financial situation. Once you put each thing that stresses you out on a paper or make a recording, you don't have to show it to anybody, but just speak out or write it out and let it go from your head to a paper or a video or whatever the case may be. You start to visualize, how can I solve these problems? What can I do about what stresses me out? A lot of the times we feel as though in as much as we don't have control over what happens in our lives sometimes, there are still little things that we can do to create a peaceful environment around us. You could switch off your phone. Some of these things may seem unuseful, but I promise you, it will eliminate stress from your life. Even something as little as unfollowing an influencer or anyone who makes you feel insecure about yourself. It may not be their fault, but every time you see their page, you kind of look down on yourself and say, oh, why am I not this pretty, or why am I not this rich? Unfollow, block. I promise you, they wouldn't even care at the end of the day. Distance yourself from a group of people or someone who disrespects you or your time. Like, you really have to ask yourself, when was the last time I felt peaceful? When was the last time I was like, you know what? I feel satisfied. I'm actually at peace with where I am. Understand that calmness comes from within. In as much as the world around us is chaotic, we are only able to really find peace within ourselves. I know that God provides the ultimate peace. The Bible calls him the Prince of Peace. But there are also things that we can do within ourselves to create our own peace. A lot of the times there are things that are out of our control. You cannot control the state of the world right now. You can maybe protest, you can maybe donate, but you can't change everything. And there's power in understanding that there's a limit to what I can do. A lot of the times we try to please people so much that it takes our own peace away. And you find yourself in really tough situations where you can't even call that friend, or you can't even call those people who you were trying so hard to live for. And what use is that at the end of the day?
Marcus Aurelius said, "Don't waste the rest of your time here worrying about other people unless it affects the common good. It will keep you from doing anything useful. You'll be too preoccupied with what so-and-so is doing, and why, and what they're saying, and what they're thinking, and what they're up to, and all the other things that throw you off and keep you from focusing on your own mind." In my opinion, Marcus touches on the main issue that holds people back in life: being attached to what other people think of them.
Think of, how do I feel about myself? You have to reach a place of contentment, or rather satisfaction with yourself. I'm not saying you can't work on yourself, but be happy with where you are while getting to a better place. If you're constantly putting yourself down and battling yourself, how will you actually improve? There's a negative effect of talking down on yourself and limiting yourself because you feel like you're not good enough. It's hard for you to grow. I'll share a personal story. I hated my body. If I'm being completely honest, I felt like I wasn't, the typical African woman, thick and juicy in the right places. And the more I saw myself as not good enough physically, it was hard for me to even go to the gym or eat healthy, or even when I did go to the gym, it was a matter of like, oh, I want to get a big behind and whatnot. But honestly, I've come to a place in my life where it's like, I just want to be healthy, I just want to live long. I want to live a healthier life. And even though I'm working out, I'm trying to be content with where my body is. If you hate on yourself so much and you try to change yourself, that's where you go into the extremes of doing a BBL or getting a lipo or whatever the case may be. Whereas at the end of the day, you still probably won't love yourself. So loving yourself brings a sense of peace because this body is all you have. At the end of the day, you came in the world naked. You're going to leave the world naked. No matter what you acquire in the world, you're still going to die and leave it all here. So having peace of mind or calmness of mind doesn't really mean emptying your mind. It doesn't mean nothing is bothering you or there's nothing you're thinking of. It's the ability to control all those stimulations. As we journey through this series of how to control your mind, I really want each and every one of you to find peace within yourself. I know that there's a lot going on in the world, and you're probably going through some things that I may not know. I'm probably going through things that you will not know. But get to a stage where you find a certain level of peace that allows you to work on yourself and live a more happier, fulfilled life, rather than being in a state of constant panic. It doesn't help you. Your health could be in jeopardy, and it does you no good to stress each and every time. Try to be happy. Try to do things that makes you happy. Try to do things that brings you peace. A lot of the times, what brings us the most stress is when we constantly emphasize on the things that we aren't able to do. Pray about it, but don't constantly stress about it. And at the end of the day, it will all work out. You'll see.
Paul says, be anxious for nothing, but by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, make your requests made known to God. That's Philippians 4:6. Philippians 4:8 is think. Use your mind. Renew that mind. Think about what's pure, noble. And then what's in the middle? Sandwiched in the middle. What's one of the fruits of a renewed mind? It says the peace of God will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. What else is the fruit of a renewed mind? Isaiah 26:3 says, you will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on you. If you want purity, then fix your mind on God. If you want peace in an anxious world, then fix your mind on God. If you want patience in an impatient world, you fix your mind on God. What's the fruit? Well, the fruit is the fruit of the Spirit, right? Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, all these things, gentleness, self-control, and ultimately, overarching all those fruits is a love for Jesus Christ.